The weekly warm pipe.
What's up, Jay?
Russ, it's like some mighty good-looking shirt you're wearing right now.
Yeah, how about that? Coordinating.
I like it.
You got the blue, I got the white. To the stars, we're wearing t-shirts. Tom DeLong's clothing brand.
Yeah. I wanted one of these for a while, and I finally pounced on it when I was going to the concert. And I don't know, I like the blue and the kind of orange look. So I'm
Yeah.
really bad about getting shirts dirty, so white was not an option for me.
I was just looking at mine. I'm like, I think I got a stain over here. It's
Yep.
like,
Exactly.
So
I always
That's
go
okay.
black and pink.
that's true. Keep it real with that. Dun, dun, dun. What are we talking about this week, Jay?
Well, totally off the hip. I guess our experience as a retro gamer and what got us into retro gaming.
Okay. I dig that. Retro games. This is
Yeah,
a
I mean, and that's
retro podcast, so it makes sense, right?
we talk about it a lot. There had to be some path that was taken. Like, for me personally, it was not on my radar at all. You know, as a matter of fact, I have a great title for this thumbnail, Russ.
A
The
title for the thumbnail.
Yeah,
Title for the
geez.
episode.
The title of the could be the title of the episode too.
Oh,
but
you
the
mean like
title,
maybe the title in the thumbnail?
yeah, like
You
like
know.
the little gotcha statement, and that title would be, "I threw away an NES."
There you go. And
I just threw it right in the trash.
I need you to send me a picture of you holding an NS and it's in the trash.
Dumping it in the
Dumping
going in
it
the
in
trash
the can.
So let me tell you the story.
Oh, good. Right
This was
into it. Story time with Jay. Here we go.
this was roughly that's classic. This was roughly a year and a half, 2 years before I decided that I wanted to get back into retro games. I had hung on to a NES that I found at my girlfriend's house in like 2003. And I remember seeing it in her garage, and I was like, "Oh my god, a Nintendo! I haven't seen one of these." And about that time, it'd probably be about 10 years, which seemed like a lifetime from age like 14 to 24 or whatever. I guess it'd be 12 to 22. If it was '03. So I was like, "Can I have it?" And she's like, "Yeah, my parents were going to sell it at a yard sale a long time ago, and it never sold. So here it sits in this smoky garage because her parents always smoked in their garage." And I was like, "Cool." So I took it home. I didn't have any cords. I don't think I had any games.
Right.
I did.
Jay's coughing.
Forgive me. I had to mute it. So I just took it home and kind of set it like on my shelf and just kind of like looked at it for a couple of years. And it eventually made its way to a closet. And, you know, uh, at one point, my grandfather, when he was still alive, my mom bought him like this like little trailer to kind of as an escape from our house. He could go over there, and it was like a furnished trailer. It didn't have a bathroom, but like you could hang out in there during the day and watch TV and do your thing. And so that trailer ended up becoming like a place of refuge for people in my family that needed places to stay for a while, like my cousin and several other people. Anyway, somehow at some point my Nintendo got put over there,
Okay.
and we had we had kind of kicked a family member out that wasn't was kind of abusing the privilege, and we were throwing some of his stuff out, and I found my Nintendo over there, and I was like just chunk it in the trash. Probably doesn't even work anymore. Like it's old as the hills, and I'll never play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we threw away a Nintendo, and knowing what I know now, it was probably perfectly fine. It could have, I'm sure, would have took minimal effort to get it working. Well, fast forward about a year and a half, 2 years later, and I'm sitting downstairs in this house. My daughter's she was born in October. I probably started doing this around February of the next year. So February 2014, we'll estimate. And I'm bored out of my mind. We don't have cable TV because we're cheap. And I'm looking at YouTube, and I type in Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis. And up comes this video with James Rolfe, and he's speaking so articulately about the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis in this really amazing video that I'm sure a lot of you have seen. and I'm like, "Man, I really wanna go back and play some old games, like, I never beat Batman as a kid. I need to beat Batman." And then, like, it was like my obsession became I need to find a Nintendo. Luckily, my buddy Johnny had one,
Mhm.
but while thinking about this, I remembered just 12 to 18 months earlier throwing away this Nintendo.
You're like, who would have known?
I'm like, "I had one. I had one in my possession. Why'd I get rid of it?" Like, who
Yeah,
knows how hard these things are to find because at this point in my life, I was, like, playing Xbox 360. I was considering getting an Xbox One and, playing a lot of Halo games, playing a lot of
yeah,
stuff, nothing old. And, so Johnny had an old Nintendo. He gave it to me, and, I instantly bought, like, Batman and Ninja Turtles, Kung Fu,
yeah.
Punch, and Excite Bike. And every night I would spend, like, 15, 20, 30 minutes putting in one of those games and just, like it was, like, probably the equivalency of doing some crazy drug for some people, but, like, I just was, like, obsessed with the feeling, like, the sounds,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
visuals, the whole routine, and that is when I believe the NES was formed.
Was born. Was born.
And that's a long story, but that's the truth.
It was about 5 minutes long. Whatever.
You know?
Where did you said you picked up a few of those games? Where are you getting the games?
So, I picked up, Punch-Out!, Excite-Bike, what was the other one? Kung Fu from the Video Game Cavern, and that started my lifelong love affair with that store. And, Batman, I just went straight to eBay, bought it with the box and everything. So I was like, that was the game I really wanted to play the most. And the other game I wanted to play was Ninja Turtles. Because after I had watched this James Rolfe video where he's so articulate and well spoken, another video popped up where the same person was swearing. And I was like, why is this well spoken man swearing so much and trying to get cheap laughs for these games? Later I later I learned to love what we all know as the AVGN, but at first I was, like, confused.
Although he was the angry Nintendo nerd at the beginning.
Yes, he was, yep, just purely Nintendo, then he had to diversify.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I'll do other video games in the future, so we'll just be the angry video game nerd.
Yeah, and that's probably when they added, the angry Atari Sega nerd, the angry,
Right in the song. Yeah,
yeah, they added all the extra consoles to say, "Hey, we're covering it all, relax."
that's it. Nice.
So
Yeah, I mean,
was that, like, the same case for you, or was it, like, something that kinda always was with you
yeah.
from
I feel like
childhood?
again with how Jay explained his story. I had my Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I just progressively went down the line. When GameCube came out, I got that. Um, I got a Wii at launch, so I was always playing games and keeping up with mostly Nintendo stuff. I did have a PlayStation 1 and 2, but I never got PS3 for some reason, and I just stuck with the Nintendo stuff. But then getting back to the retro stuff, because like you kind of all right, play a bunch of GameCube stuff. Oh, the Wii's coming out now. You're not playing GameCube, so you put it in the closet. You're just focusing on Wii, right? Because the new games are coming out for that. So much like YouTube's a thing, and I don't know how I ended up searching videos or coming across videos, but somehow a couple retro game videos had entered my feed. It could have been a few of the Angry Video Game Nerd videos, probably the Game Chasers at some point. I do remember watching some YouTubers doing like these pickup videos showing what retro games that they got, or even going to like garage sales. Some of the early, like Pat the NES Punk doing the flea market madness with Frank.
Ba-ba-da-ba-sha.
He did just put up a recent one. If you guys follow Pat on there, and I had seen it come up on my feed, so he did a flea market video, and that kind of got me like, oh, I think I have like my old Nintendo stuff, like in a milk crate somewhere, causing me to dig it out and
See,
wanted to
lucky
fire it up.
you, I had gotten rid of all my you know what? I was fortunate enough not to have gotten rid of my Super Nintendo stuff, and I think the only reason was because my dad bought it for me,
Hmm.
and I was like, "I can't get rid of this, my dad bought it for me." Obviously, he's passed away now, so that I thank my dad for not only having it, but still having it. So,
Right. Right. Yeah, so, I had a few games and then I get like you get those surge of memories of like, games you played or even like you said when you bought Batman, you're like, I got it in the box. So maybe some of the games I was like, oh, you know what? It'd be cool to have like the original Zelda in the box, like
Yeah.
just to go through it. So I go on eBay, Zelda in the box, $20 or like whatever it
Yeah.
was. That's
I'm
super
pretty sure
cheap.
I paid like 15, $20 for my Batman and
Right.
my
A lot of
Turtles.
these, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I want to get a bunch of these games that I grew up with, but with the boxes, because I felt like that was a lot of the experience of getting that box, reading the back of it, getting the instruction manual, and it's tough with the Nintendo ones because obviously it's cardboard, they fall apart more than if you're having a Sega Genesis. Got the nice hard clamshell,
Oh, I
lasts through
know.
through so long, for sure. But then, I said we were watching these videos of people going to flea markets or Goodwills and, looking for games, so I started doing that with the buddy.
Yeah, and the other thing that I thought was interesting about YouTube was, uh, you know, I saw these people and they had these huge, massive walls of games behind them. And I always kind of wanted to do a video on that, like how I felt like that gave people authority to speak about games, having these massive backdrops of games. Like I remember, like AVGN obviously had his backdrop, and Pat had his backdrop, and Game Chasers had one, and not Pixel Games Squad, Retro Liberty had one,
Mhm.
and then the one that I think got me the most, and it got me on this new idea that I never even considered.
Okay.
A little gamer by the name of Michael B. the Game Genie,
Okay.
who was going for the complete NES Chronicles,
I think I
and I
know
was
that guy.
like, "Oh my god!" Like I was like, you gonna get a whole set? Like I didn't even think about that as a possibility,
You're like,
And then
I'm an adult, I got adult money, I could buy games."
and that's right, like I can do that maybe. Like I didn't realize how expensive some of them were at the time. And I remember like the first time I ever heard Little Samson mentioned was in a Game Chasers video. And I was like, what is Little Samson? Like, how do I not know about all this stuff? And it was just like this wealth of information. Like I didn't realize there were 700 plus NES games or whatever the number is, 600, 700.
Mhm.
And so it was like, I just wanted to learn more and I was just taking it all in. And I was like, I couldn't get enough, just like a drug, almost like an addict, if you will.
Well, that nostalgia can be addicting for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and then, I just would keep diving in, like you said, you get all these videos and it prompts new searches you wanna do, and then watching, Metal Jesus on YouTube with these hidden gem
Oh, yeah.
videos, and you're like, "Wow, what are these games I've never heard of?" Mostly games that no one ever talked about, and you're like, "Kickmaster on the NES, like, never heard of that, that looks really cool," like, I never seen that in the store, or Nintendo Power or something like that, so you wanna try to
Yeah.
get
Like
your list going.
2 games that I remember specifically learning about from either Riggs, probably John Riggs on Metal Jesus was Quantum Kabuki Fighter. Like, when I heard about that and you're like, "It's kinda like Batman." I was like, "What? A game like Batman? I gotta have this," you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
And then, like, the other one was, oh, man, it slipped my mind. Dang it, what was it? I'll have to think about it in a minute. But, like, another one was, like, Eliminator Boat Duel, but there was, like, one more that I was gonna mention. It wasn't Quantum Quick oh, you know what it was? It was Dragon Spirit. I was like, "Oh, what if you get to be a dragon? It's like a shooter? That's so rad. I wanna do that." So,
Yeah, yeah,
but,
yeah.
yeah, it was just like every video I saw, just add another game to the list of the wanted games, you know?
And I'd say with the early days of YouTube, I brought up a few times, if you guys are on YouTube for a while, I remember the feature you could do a video response. So you would have your main video, and where the comment section was, you can click a button to do an immediate video response. You'd hit video response, your webcam go live, and you just, basically doing a video comment, if you
Right,
will. So I'd watch a bunch of these like top 3 Tuesday videos and they do my top 3 Game Boy games. And then I'd pop in and be like, oh, hey, Michael B. the Game Genie. Like my favorite Game Boy games are, TMNT, Batman, and Super Mario Land, and just talk about it. Like no editing, no like
right.
pictures coming in, just you chatting. So that kind of got me into like the retro game community and meeting a lot of people who had this passion or refinding stuff for their childhood that they wanted to get into again.
Yeah, it's funny too, like, it was like retro video game YouTubers, like the big dogs, became like celebrities to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I I was like, "Oh my god," like, Aaron Stapish is, like, the coolest dude ever, I was obsessed with Chris from NES Complex. I was like, "This guy makes the greatest videos ever," like, I love all these Nintendo powered time machines, and it just, like I became, like, so invested in all these people like they were celebrities, I was like, "Oh, it'd be so crazy if I could be friends with them," and then the crazy part is that that happened for, like, most of us, really, like, I know you're friends with them, I'm friends with them, a lot of our other friends are friends with them, so
Right, right. Just staying in that community. I'll tell a short story to go with, meeting YouTubers and getting into this community. I ended up meeting my buddy, the Nintendo doctor, through YouTube, him doing videos, and he lived still does in Portland, Oregon. And then we had a mutual friend that also was doing a YouTube channel. His name's George. His channel is G Unit Kalima. And he do pickup videos and we kind of go back and forth, maybe do some collabs. And we get like a group chat going together and we talk here and there. And the Nintendo doctor said, "You guys should come out to this convention out here in Portland. It's called the Portland Retro Gaming Expo." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds awesome. Like, I never did anything like that." And it was in October, and I literally got a plane ticket, flew out all the way to Portland on the West Coast, never meeting these people ever. And
they
first
could have
time
been
I
murderers.
ever met them was I got off the plane and was like, "Hey, I'm the Nintendo doctor." And we were staying at his house and I met George then too. And we had a great time hanging out, like just at the house and talking games, then going to the convention. And it was, so much larger than anything I had been here. And, you're out on the West Coast and then you're like, "Oh, there's Metal Jesus. There's, John Riggs.
Right.
There's Reggie, like all these people I watch on the West Coast, like,
Yep.
and you get to see the scene out there. And I still to this day we're friends and have a group chat and hung out multiple times. And I just added to that to the more people in the
Yeah.
community, and it's certainly great.
I mean, that's why we're here today, Russ. Like, I don't know I can't remember
Right, right.
exactly
Me and Jay.
how I came across you,
Oh,
but
finding my
I was
channel. Yeah,
I started watching you and you were doing, a lot of DIY stuff and game hunting, and I think you were probably at the shop at this point, and then you started hosting, YouTuber of the Month, or I got
that's right.
shafted out of being YouTuber of the Month because I said something stupid. And we can tell that story real quick if you want, basically. Basically, what happened was I
Well,
was nom
backstory. So
okay, go ahead.
of this thing was called YouTuber of the Month that someone had put together. So basically, you're winning the privilege of like being a highlighted channel, and it had stipulations that you had to have under, I think, was it under 1,000 subscribers, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, it was under 1,000, yeah,
You
because
had
they're
to
trying
have
to help people grow.
an on-screen presence, so you had to be like talking to the camera and this and that. Forgot what other some stipulations were, but at some point, they have the person that wins, and then they kind of do nominees. Like, these are the people for next month's I
Right.
want to do shout outs for. So somehow I got nominated, I won, and then eventually Jay had gotten nominated. And you're nominated, so you want to win. So Jay was like, Here, you take over from here."
Oh, you can tell it. You know it just as good as I do. You were there, you lived it. Basically, I was doing a video, and I guess it was, like, around the time the Nintendo cereal was out, or so I can't remember exactly what the giveaway was, but I was like, "Hey," like, in the middle of shooting, like, this idea pops into my head, like, it wasn't pre-thought of. I was like, "Actually, like, if you go vote for me, I'll put you in the running for the cereal, and we'll give it away," because what I assumed was, and maybe this was stupid of me to assume, that if you're on my channel watching me, there's a good chance you're probably gonna vote for me. Now, I can see that as a little short-sightedness in that because I watch a lot of people, right? So I watch Russ, I watch Megadan29, I watch JLove81, I
Mhm.
watch, Gamer Aimer. And so just because I watched one of their videos, maybe I would have voted on, let's say, let's say I was watching Brainy's video and she's like, "Hey, vote for me. Here's a box of cereal." But I'm like, I'm actually gonna vote for Russ, or
Right,
whatever the
right.
case may be. So I didn't think of it like that. I just thought of it as like, oh, if you're watching my channel, you're probably gonna vote for me. So I said it, and then somebody who was like in the community, I can't remember who it was. I think it was somebody from overseas though. Kind of like sent me this private message, like, "Man, that's pretty messed up. You're like trying to bribe people to vote for you with cereal." And I was like, I just texted Russ. I was like, you know what? Forget it. Take me out. Like, if someone's gonna blame me for cheating, which I'm not trying to do, I just was trying to incentivize people to vote. But what I should have said in hindsight was, if you go vote for anybody, whoever you want to vote for, I'll put you in the running. But
Right, worded it that way.
it was just so off the cuff that I wasn't even thinking, like, it wasn't even premeditated.
I mean,
Anyway.
the way I would see it, I mean, okay, we're voting, right? It's the same thing as if you vote for president or whatever. You
Yeah,
have your campaign, right? Your promotion. Hey,
that was
this
my campaign.
channel, like I'm gonna spend my own money and spend it to ship this box of cereal to you. If the other
Yeah,
people don't want to do that, that's on them. Yeah, and they're like,
yeah,
oh, I only got 2 votes. Well, maybe you should have spent $10 to give
on
us
some
the
cereal.
cereal. I don't know. What do you want?
Exactly. But so anyway, all that to say, I could have been YouTuber of the month for that month, and I just took myself completely out of the running. And I think
Mhm.
I was still in the video, showing
Right,
my
right.
name get jumbled around, but I didn't win. Um, but then later, I think some friends of mine won, and they're like, "Hey, let's help Jay, let's let's redeem
Get
him."
him a legit, yes, winning.
Yeah, they almost like set me up to win the next round. But so
But
anyway,
it did help. Essentially, what it was to get the word out of all these other channels because maybe the YouTube algorithm wasn't so keen to like, hey, check out these other smaller channels, right? That was
right,
the whole thing. So I learned about these other YouTubers from YouTuber of the month, and it's
yeah,
still going on today. I was contacted not too long ago to be part of the one of the videos that the host is currently doing. And I was
nice,
like, yeah, he was doing kind of a history of YouTuber of the month with each episode, and essentially had me come on and explain my bit and this and that. And I actually made a theme song for the opening of YouTuber of the month, which went on for 2 seasons because I was a host for a year, and then Tom and Lacey from Do You Nerd were a host, and they kept
and
my
they kept
song.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I
Hey,
mean
you know
that.
what?
mm,
Go ahead.
I was just say that. I mean, then that just kept us in the retro game community and passionate for it.
I just realized who voted for me the first round. Your friend and mine, Rex the Great. I
Nice,
just
nice.
remembered that.
I'll be seeing him this weekend at Retro World Expo. He's a
Cool.
guest there.
Give him a hug for me.
I did want to do this is a good segue right here. I did want to do. I am at the show Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I thought it'd be fun to cut away to some footage and talk to some people at Retro World Expo and ask them what got them into retro games. So we could hear from the community from that.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
What's up, guys? Russ Lyman here, and I'm at Retro World Expo. It's day one, a little slow here, so I can walk around talking to some people and seeing what got you back into retro video games. Let's see. What's up, Sean? We're asking people here at Retro World Expo, what got you back into retro gaming?
All right, well, I've always been a gamer and a collector. Then when I had my first kid and the kids started to come along, that kind of took a back burner and everything went into storage. And then I started getting like depression and like really like all I was doing was working and it's kind of my identity kind of went away. And then I just one day on YouTube, somehow I stumbled upon the Angry Video Game Nerd. And like all of a sudden I started, video after video and finding you and everybody else and Jay, everybody, like it just like sparks that. And so I like pulled all that stuff out of storage, all my NES stuff and everything. And then from there I just started continuing from there. And like the bug got bit again and now here I am.
Here you are. Love it. Thanks. Thank you.
What got me back into retro games?
Yeah.
So as a child of the 80s, we grew up with the Nintendo, played the Nintendo all through when the Super came out, then the Genesis, and the Sega CD, and then kind of fell out of games for a while. And then a few years later, was old enough to have a job, made my own money, and I said, I want to go back and buy all the stuff I didn't have, because we didn't have an N64, and we didn't have, like a 3DO and like the Jaguar and some of these things that like were a little bit harder to find. So started like kind of finding what we didn't have before, started getting a little bit of a collection, and then kind of pass it on to the kids when they're ready for it.
So I have always been a massive fan of retro games. Like, I just have such fond memories of like growing up and playing the NES with my older brother. And I mean, growing up, yes, there's newer, bigger, and better things to come, but there's just that side of you that's like, it's great, but I really miss like the old nostalgia that you get when you play those games. So yeah,
It just brings you back.
absolutely.
Perfect.
All right.
I never got out of retro games. I started off with these old games, and with a lot of the newer stuff, it's just too much of a time crunch, asking me for 80 to 100 hours. I prefer to play something I could beat in like an hour, you know, things like Streets of Rage 2, things like that. So retro is in my blood, and retro will continue to be forever and always.
Perfect. What we say? What's your favorite retro console, Aldo?
Sega Dreamcast. It's September 9, 999. It's thinking.
Hi.
Hi. what got you back into playing some retro video games?
Oh, so that's actually funny. I started, vending, selling my art at retro game shows, and it kind of got me back into. Sorry, I'm freezing. It got me back into it, and then I picked up a all-in-one cart for my SNES, and because these games are so expensive right now, so at least this way, I can still go ahead and play what I have on my modded SNES system that I have. And I did that primarily because a couple years ago I borrowed my brother's Super Nintendo, Super Metroid, and I got up to Mother Brain at the very end. I died. It was late. It's like, I'll come back to this later. Next day, I go ahead and plug it in. All the save files are gone. And the battery died on me. And so like, our original games from back, when we were kids, his save files, my original save file, my new save file, all gone. So I have a couple of, games that I still kept, Link to the Past, Chrono Trigger. So technically, it's a Schrodinger's cat situation where my save files could still be on them or not on them. I don't want to find out, so I bought an all-in-one cart so I could play all those games again.
Nice.
That's what got me back into retro gaming. Cursed batteries.
And now, back to the show.
Jay, I wanted to bring up a new, what would we call it? Not a topic. Segment, I guess. Yeah, we have a lot of segments. Sometimes we bring them up and don't do them. I thought this would be kind of fun. This kind of fits with retro games, like what got you into it. Maybe this could be a ongoing segment if you guys are down. But I thought it'd be cool I shoot you a video game, okay?
Okay.
Here's the premise. I
Okay.
say
Let's hear it.
this game, and then I want you to describe the smell to me.
Oh.
Not like here's a game and you're like, smells musty.
Yeah, it
if
smells
I'm
like a musty old game from the 80s.
But go like I'm like Contra and you're like, oh, jungle.
Yeah.
Like Umit.
Yeah.
Like, and kind of like what would that smell or
Right.
something be with the game? I thought that'd be kind of fun.
Smells like putrid cinnamon.
Maybe we could
Did you
do
get that
a
reference?
What did you say? Future cinnamon?
Putrid cinnamon.
Putrid cinnamon. That's
So you ever seen the movie Third Kind?
I don't know.
So it's about aliens, but anyway.
Yeah. Encounters of the Third Kind.
Well, this is just called the
Close
Third Kind.
Encounters. Oh, it's just called the Third Kind. Okay.
Yeah, but basically, or no, you know what? I take that back. It's called Fourth Kind.
Oh, okay.
But basically, the aliens are described as to smell like putrid cinnamon. So because they're I don't know. I have no idea what that smells like. But because they're aliens in Contra, putrid cinnamon.
There you go, putrid cinnamon. I'm like, who keeps cinnamon around that long to know that it's gone bad? And you're like, this is putrid.
We need to do a UFO edition podcast.
Like make a new channel that's UFO.
No. We're just gonna go off the rails one week. It's not gonna be retro. We're gonna talk about UFO abductions, UFOs.
We could spin it. We're getting sidetracked, but we could spin it like 90s. Why were aliens so big? Like everything was like
There you go. I like
future
it.
topic. Anyways, okay, let me throw you a few games. You tell me what it smells like.
All right.
It's summertime. Let's go with Star Tropics.
Okay, Star Tropics is gonna smell like a pineapple. Like a pineapple. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like drink?
Mixed drink.
Mixed
Yeah, I
drink?
don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna smell like ocean potion, which is a very specific type of what's the word I'm looking for? Like sunscreen
Oh,
that I
okay. They're
used
gonna
to
go
love
with
to
water
get when I
smell.
went to Myrtle Beach.
I got it.
It smells like salt and air
Yes.
because
good,
obviously
good.
you're at the beach. And let's see, one more thing I can say it smells like. I don't know, grilling out some hamburgers maybe.
Okay.
How's that?
I dig it.
Does that work?
Yeah, that
Is
works.
that
Star
is that what
Tropics
you
lets
wanted?
you envision. Yeah. I don't know. I thought it'd be a fun concept. I don't know. We had a few on there. I was like, yeah, maybe we'll try this.
We're good. Are we doing another one?
Yeah, you could throw me one, I guess, randomly.
Okay, let me see here. All right, what does Kid Icarus smell like, Russ?
Oh, okay. Kid Icarus. Let's see. Got to think of how that goes with the levels and stuff. Kid Icarus. Well, it's gonna smell like feathers, right? Because he's got
Okay.
wings.
That's right.
If feathers really have a smell, I don't know if you can put a
Just
distinct
go sniff
smell.
your pillow.
Go sniff your down pillow. It's gonna smell. Let's see, candy hearts. I'm thinking of if you're spinning off of almost Cupid, and you got to collect
Yeah,
all the hearts for money in the
I like
game.
it.
So you got
That's a
candy
great
hearts and
idea.
some feathers. Eggplants. You got to have the smell of eggplants, right? Because you got the eggplant wizard in
That's
Kid
it.
Icarus. So I think that's a good fit for Kid Icarus.
Russ, I feel like you just knocked it out of the park.
That was a good one. We do have our other segment too that we haven't done in quite some time. If you guys want to hear a spinoff on that,
go ahead.
Keep or kill. Finish him.
Dude, I don't think I've seen that yet. That was rad.
That was a good one. Keep or kill. This is where we talk about a few things, and you got to keep one or kill one.
Keep it or kill it off. Do you have any ideas?
Let's go with. Let's do soft drinks. All right.
Okay.
We got orange sun-kissed, and we'll go with Sprite. Keep one, kill one.
Oh, this is a tough one because I love both of them, but I will say I will drink Sprite 100% of the time more than Orange Crush. So Orange Crush, see you later. Sprite, you're sticking around.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go the same route with you. I do like me an Orange Crush from here to there, but I can have a Sprite definitely more times than the Orange Crush.
Same here.
Although if you go to the places that they have mix your own drink, I think you could get an orange Sprite, like an orange shot in your Sprite.
Yeah.
There.
Yep.
So best of both worlds.
Can I rant real quick? I hate those machines.
Do you?
Because there must be some trace amount of syrup because no matter when I get Sprite there, it always has like a taste of like raspberry or some other flavor. And I'm like, I just wanted regular Sprite. I don't want it to taste like all this other stuff.
I don't know if you have to choose the water option, hit it for like 3 seconds, and then go choose your drink to maybe like.
I will try that next time to wash the residue away. Are we doing any more?
I don't know. We could get back on topic of that. I thought it'd be fun to do that quick little.
All right, I like it.
Second. Unless you want to hear, you want to throw me a keep it or kill it.
All right, we'll stick with soft drinks.
Okay.
All right, this is going to be a tough one. Ready?
Yeah.
Root beer or cream soda?
That probably comes down to the branding, I guess, because I do enjoy Barks root beer over A&W and Mug.
Okay.
So I guess it depends on which ones are there. I drink root beer way more than cream soda, so I'll have to say, sorry, cream soda, you're out of here. You could do root beer floats. You could drink it straight. It's just a better drink.
All right. That's a tricky one, but I think I agree.
And like I said, Barks is probably my go-to.
Yeah.
Although they have one that's funny. That's it's Doc Brown's. So I always think of like Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future.
Yeah. All right.
Retro games.
So I want to ask you this.
Okay.
Where is your as far as your finger on the pulse, how has it changed for you, or where are you in that now? Because I have found that my retro gaming landscape is changing. So what are your thoughts?
Well, when you say like landscape is changing, like how you consume retro games or like play them or the it as a whole, I guess how am
Uh,
I narrowing this down?
sorry, yeah, I guess that's a little vague. Like, are you still as engaged
Okay,
as you were 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
Um, are you do you find yourself thinking about it as much? You know, like I was completely addicted, like couldn't get enough,
Mhm.
and I feel like I've met a quota. Does that help?
Yeah, that kind of narrows down for sure. And I like that you said like meta quota because I almost feel like that there was like a pivotal point for sure in that where it's like you're collecting the games and everything's new. You're grabbing every NES game you can, and then you start to kind of okay maybe dial it back some or focus more. And I remember when we just had our episode on the mini systems, the classics, NES classics, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, I one, Sega, and all that. And I think when I got that, my friend was able to mod it for me to put all these retro games on it. Just made it more accessible for me to one live stream. That was the main reason why I did it. So it's easier to hook up to my capture card, get gameplay footage of this, or live stream any of the games. So that makes it super fun. That kind of like pulled me back from like, oh, I don't want to collect every single NES game I seen, right? Maybe I just want the ones I remember from my childhood. So you kind of change your focus on that, and that definitely dialed back how many retro games I was buying at conventions. Um, even being at a convention, maybe I'm only getting maybe the manual or something like that for a current game I have. I'm not just like grabbing any game unless I come across a game that I was live streaming or playing on my SNES Classic and I don't have in my collection. I was like, oh, that was a good one. Like I ended up beating what game was it? Now I'm forgetting what game it was that I streamed. Oh, Low G Man. You know,
Oh, Low G Man, great game.
if you could picture the cover, it's almost like this guy almost looking like he's wearing some rollerblades or something like that. And Jay's seeing if he has it.
Yeah, I was looking. Sorry.
I live streamed it. Not a 10 out of 10 game, but it was fun. And I was
Right.
like, it's fairly cheap. And I ended up seeing that at a convention for under $10. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'll grab it. I played it, I beat it. I can have the physical game now, and I could be like, oh yeah, I remember I live streamed this. This one was not
Yeah.
bad. So
Yeah.
stuff like that, I'll still buy games here and there, but and it's also tough with me where I had all my games. If you look at my early videos, I was in my mom's basement, so I had a lot of room in there, and then I moved in with my girlfriend then, now wife, and I had to move some of my stuff there. I got a little bedroom to become my game room. Now we're in a transitional period, so like everything's still packed up and packed away. We got a house, so I'm building the new game room, and now I'll have more space than I did. So it's like, okay, then that maybe gives me some opportunity to purchase more games or just play stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously, if you guys are listeners of the show, you know that I went through a transitional period about 3 weeks ago where I basically gave half my game room back to my wife, and I can give you a little shot over there. See all those shoes?
Those
And
aren't retro shoes.
it's like a Peloton type thing. I don't know, like whatever. So anyway, so I lost half my game room, so I started selling off a lot of things that I never really thought that I would part with. A lot of the things I made Nintendo oddities videos are gone. Um, I recently sold. I don't know if you guys remember, but I had the Nintendo cart for the TV with the big one. I
Yeah.
sold that just the other day. I still have the little one, but I don't have the big one anymore. So I got rid of that. But I'm finding that, and I'll give you another quick little view here. Is if you look down here, you will see. Let's see if I can kind of show you how much stuff is over here without unplugging this thing. I don't know if you can see down there, but there's this stuff. There's a small child. That's Macaulay Culkin right there in the corner there. But there's this there's just so much stuff in this room that I'm still finding that I have to uh, get rid of things because I want to be able to come in here and enjoy the space. And because I have such a huge collection shoved into half a closet and nowhere else to go, um, I've gotten rid of a lot of things. A, because out of necessity, but B, um, this is going to sound crazy to some of you people, but a lot of it I just find I've I've kinda had my fill on it. I've that big cart that the TV was under, I thought I would never get rid of that. I sold it the other day and I thought twice about it, you know? There's a few things, like this big sign here that you're seeing, the World of Nintendo sign. I don't know if I can get rid of this. This is just
I
way
mean,
too
for yeah,
rad.
so cool, and for the deal you got it for, it's like
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, somebody would have to give me pretty close to full price for it, where I'd be like, "All right, I'm gonna get rid of it." But,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just like this thing is so rad that that it makes me feel like I don't even need anything else.
Right, you're
You know
like,
what I
"That's
mean?
my collection."
Like that's the only thing I really need. Like that thing's so sick. Like what else do you need?
Right,
Um,
absolutely.
but
It's
but
almost
yeah.
say it's good that, like, your room or your space that you have almost dictates your collection, right? How much you
Oh, absolutely. Like, I mean, I had to get rid of stuff because like when I shoved everything on this side, it was like I wasn't gonna be able to do this podcast much longer if I didn't get rid of some stuff. Because I mean, like, it was like this in here. Like,
right, couldn't fit a
it
chair
mi
in or
it
move,
might
yeah.
look like I have some room, but I don't. For those of you that have been in this closet, you know. But yeah, so I would just say the landscape is changing for me, as I'm finding less attachment to some of this stuff that I kind of gained 10 years ago when it was, like, all new to me, and I've seen it for 10 years.
Mhm.
And, you know, and if I ever wanna see any of it again, I mean, all I have to do is go to a convention and walk around, and I'll see it again. But the other thing that I really like is I feel like my videos are like little time capsules, and if I ever miss, something I bought, like my Mario phone that I no longer have, I'll just go watch my video I made with me and Russ on the Mario phone, and I'm like, "Oh, there it is. Cool."
Cool.
So I guess I just find, like, I don't need it. I don't need to have all this stuff anymore. I've been able to let some stuff go. So
Okay.
I didn't know if you had come to that road yet, or if
No,
anybody
it's
out there
in
has.
yeah, not yet. Um, yeah, I'm definitely holding on to a majority of the collection. Once I start situating the new game room, then we'll see how everything switches focus. But like you said, a good point. You know, you had your fill with the retro games, and they serve their purpose. I will say, like, I'm still deeply into retro games, and I definitely love supporting the community that come out with new retro games. I just recently bought a game from John Riggs put out called Mimic, and so that's brand new NES game for 2024. And every time I go to conventions, if I see people that have new retro games, I always buy them and pick them up because it's so cool that these people are developing games for such an old system. And you're like, all right, let's see what people can do, now knowing
Right.
the limits of the NES, and they can push it and do other stuff that they couldn't do back in the 80s programming these games.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would really like to try that Cabbage Patch game you got and a couple other games that I've heard about, but at the same time, like, I feel like the nostalgia bug doesn't bite me quite for those, even though it is rad that NES games are still being made. Like, I'm kind of a purist and just want the old stuff. But I've even considered really paring down this NES collection to between like 50 and 100 NES games. Like, you know, I mean, I always pick on Battle Chess because it's so slow and clunky, but I'm gonna pick up Contra 100 times before I'll ever think about picking up Battle Chess. So I'm gonna get. I think at some point I'm gonna get the Contras and the Mike Tyson's Punch Outs and the Mario Brothers and the Zeldas and just
Hmm.
the top tier classic games. I think I'm gonna get rid of some of the filler.
Right, right.
And the other thing is like, I mean, I've had these games for 10 years and some of them still have like I see what do I see here? Kid Nicky. Like I think I might have played that once for 10 minutes just to see what it was like, and I've never played it
Right,
again, you know? Like,
right,
do I
right.
need Kid Nicky? Probably not.
I don't know.
And I think the other thing you said is like having the NES uh the modded NES if I ever wanted to try it, I could just pop that on and bam, it's on there. So
Right.
um, I can see a lot more of this getting pared down over the next year. So we'll
Right.
see. We'll see what's left at the 2025. So
And I do like going back to like, okay, they got new NES games coming out, so that's awesome. But also like you can get new retro inspired games right on the Switch,
yep,
PS5 that are coming out with that pixel look. A lot of these indie developers are leaning into where you're like, oh, that looks awesome. Like The Messenger came out was like Ninja Gaiden meets open world
right,
platformer, like
incredible.
amazing. And a lot of games you could pick up, fairly cheap, and they have that cool retro aesthetic. Blood Moon, uh,
Bloodstained, right? Curse of the
Bloodstained,
Moon.
Curse of the Moon, Castlevania, basically, right? But new
Absolutely.
property, and they have two of those, and they're fantastic, and it gives you that nostalgia is feeling. But they can do, so much more because it's on a new system and it's just mimicking that pixel look.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and like I told you a couple weeks ago, like me and Colin finally got through Breath of the Wild, and I also have Metroid Prime, the remake on the Switch, and I haven't had time to play that yet, but I really want to get into that. So like, it's almost like I'm almost shifting back the other way now. A couple weeks ago, I was in this Bioshock kick, and then I was like wanting to play Halo again, and like it's almost like this is no longer nostalgic for me, and I'm going back to like disc-based games,
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. You're gonna be like, "Yo, remember the freaking GameCube or the Wii?" Like, it's
yeah.
because we're getting further back, and you're like, "Oh, now
Remember original Ninja Guy or Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox when it first came out? Like,
Ninja Gaiden Sigma."
well, it wasn't even Sigma, it was just Ninja
Oh,
Gaiden, and then
just
they
Ninja
came out,
Gaiden, really? Then
and then
Sigma.
I think they came out with Ninja Gaiden Black, and then
Oh, I
Sigma
never
maybe,
played
or
any of those.
the first one was really cool. When I beat it, it actually unlocked Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3 from the
Oh,
NES,
okay.
and I didn't even bother to play it because I was like, "NES, who cares?"
I remember I bought some game on GameCube. It was a Ninja Turtles game, and it had on the back like unlockable. I think it had the arcade game in there,
Yeah,
which
so
I
cool.
never unlocked. But I was like, "That's cool, cool feature."
Yeah,
So who knows? Maybe yeah, a lot of these retro gamer people or people listening to the podcast that love the retro games. Instead of NES, now we're pivoting to a little bit closer. Okay, now I'm going to be more, GameCube. I know GameCube was probably pretty hot because Caleb was doing his GameCube Gambit. So
yeah,
maybe a lot of people were on like, oh, GameCube kick. Let me go back and play my GameCube.
yeah.
And who
I'm
knows?
gonna be really curious to see once the people who were like 8, 9, 10 when the Wii U is out, if the Wii I'm just wonder if the Wii U is gonna be kinda like the Virtual Boy, like this footnote misstep of Nintendo gaming in the future, and if it's gonna be like a big collector or not? I don't know.
Okay.
Just
It
curious.
might be. Yeah, that could be the whole podcast topic, possibly.
Yeah, just curious.
Wii U Virtual Boy, which is the worst Nintendo system.
There you go, add it to the thought.
Sweet. Um, any closing comments? I think we covered a good amount here.
No, I mean, I feel like I spilled my guts out here and, like, sorry if I talk too much. Had a lot to say.
We got the good stories with Jay.
That's right.
You could call into the show if you guys want. We take voicemails. We'll play them here on the show. Phone number is 949-682-9277. That's 949-682-WARP. Leave us a message. And you can catch new episodes every Wednesday and Saturday. We do Warp Pipe Wednesday, which is more of a what's me and Jay doing type of show. And then every Saturday is the weekly Warp Pipe where we're mostly focusing on retro topics. And we'll do a
That's
quick
right.
shout out to our Patreon supporters. We got Dan and Nicole's Treasures Untold, Joe Sheevy, Trace Livingood, Samantha Chang, Rodney Torres, Retroholic16, and Austin Mills. You can support us on patreon.com/Russ Lyman under my name. Or if you're watching here on YouTube, you could become a channel member and support us that way. You get cool icons next to your name and badges to do when we live stream. We got to do another live stream, Jay. I think we're going to try to do one a month or so. So
Yeah, we're due.
I'll have to schedule one up and you guys can chat with us on the live stream.
I like it.
Sweet. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for jumping in the warp pipe with us. And we'll see you on the next level.